Scholastic Books releases guide for supporting LGBTQ youth. Scholastic has released its 2024 Read with Pride guide, urging teachers to include LGBTQ children's books in their curricula. The guide emphasizes that educators, whether they realize it or not, already interact with queer children in their classrooms. It encourages them to disrupt the status quo by offering literature that challenges conventional ideas of gender and sexuality. The guide provides book recommendations for readers as young as preschoolers, including titles such as My Moms Love Me and You Are Loved, which highlight same-sex families. For older children, books such as Melissa and Moonflower feature trans and non-binary characters. Scholastic asserts that these stories help affirm children's identities and positively impact mental health. The guide also promotes resources such as the Trevor Project, which supports queer youth, claiming that affirming gender identities can help prevent suicide. Despite debates over the impact of social transitions on children's mental health, Scholastic maintains that diverse literature can have life-changing effects on young readers, offering them authentic representation and validation. Bravo, Scholastic Books! I love this latest example of publishers, librarians, and educators standing up for students and standing up to parents.
And Moms Against Liberty.
Lavatories.
I wanted just a shout out to all these great organizations. Scholastic, Pen America that is killing it, that is really the ones taking on the book bans, and all these great cultural institutions, and that, like, some of them like real, even locally, Books and Books Foundation in Miami has been, they started a foundation just to help get people books, right? I mean, that is, people are really answering the call in the absence of all of this. Also, Scholastic, like when I was a kid, Scholastic book fairs were my favorite day of the year, right?
Yes.
I would look forward to that like crazy.
Yeah, Magic School Bus was one. That was one of my favorite books. Yeah, I mean, I think it's important that we provide young people with enough information to be able to make informed decisions about themselves. And I mean, books are one of the ways to learning. When I was growing up, there was a gay bookstore called Lambda Rising in DC. and I cried when it closed down. But it was around, and I remember buying a book, scared as hell, but buying a book that was focusing on LGBT teenagers, and having that book really let me know that I wasn't, alone. There was nothing wrong with me. And I'm like, imagine someone 13 and 14, hopefully not Lambda Rising, it was scandalous then, but can find a book that can meet their needs. And also maybe they have a friend who may not be gay or lesbian, transgender, and may want to support their friends, because books not only just educate the people who are part of the community, it also educates those of them who are around them. So I think it's important to definitely provide an array of books for people to learn, including their parents.
We all need an education.
Yes.
I even was like, when I was growing up as well, like the Scholastic Book Fair was my favorite. And it was like, you're kind of like a cool kid if you got money to go to the Scholastic Book Fair to get the erasers, the colorful erasers, the colorful pens.
Your Lisa Frank stickers.
And so like
colorful.
Getting like a gay book, like it's like, oh my gosh, like who's gonna get one of those? Like it's gonna be a really cool person.
Well,
so
the important thing with Scholastic Books, because I mean, Greg, you and I are not that
Well,
far
they were
apart.
stone tablets when I was
But I mean, I just turned 60 and I can remember Scholastic Book Fairs. And even when gay was not a topic or even a subject, and it was still under the table and everything, there are a lot of books in history that when you look back on them, suddenly it's like, okay, we know that one's gay, we know that one's gay. I mean, even Sesame Street, Bert and Ernie, please.
They're roommates, no.
And Sesame Street was big when I was going to Scholastic. So I mean, what's important is that Scholastic isn't looking at their audience as what is the limits of you. It's showing you the world and the reality of that world, and it's representing everybody, language issues, ethnic backgrounds, the whole bit. So if they can go into Spanish and all kinds of languages, if they can talk about people of color,
Yeah.
disabilities, it's only natural that they include LGBTQ.
Yeah.
You know, everybody needs to be represented fairly and equally in the opportunities list. So I applaud, you know, Scholastic for having the backbone like so many others haven't, and going out there and saying this is who we are. So thank you, Scholastic.